Hi guys, and welcome to this video. So you might just come across this video randomly, or you're just actually looking to take steroids, or you actually need a genuine TRT replacement, or you're just someone who likes to read about steroid related subjects, bodybuilding. And so the goal of this video today is to spread some awareness around steroid use. So basically my channel is about talking about natural bodybuilding, how to build muscle quickly, naturally, but also about spreading awareness that steroids can be dangerous. And so if some people really decide to take it, then that's fine, but some people I think also fall into steroids without really wanting to in the first place. Sometimes it's not their first goal, but because they've seen it on internet, they've seen legal steroid SARMs, etc., or maybe they've been influenced by some friends and then they get into it without really knowing what the consequences can be. So like that's why I'm making this type of videos. And so this video is about steroids, testosterone forums, and how you should probably step away from it. So for sure there might be some TRT replacement forums which are good for people who actually went for TRT replacement and then they're looking for the people who've been through the same thing, and these were actually people who were really had low T or really needed TRT. And so these forums are more like-minded people who actually went through the same thing and they're helping each other, etc. The forums that I'm talking about today are these forums that in my opinion are quite dangerous, steroid forums where everyone kind of gives their advice. And so I think it's pretty dangerous nowadays. You have the black market hanging out in these forums where you have sellers who just want to sell, and I think a lot of beginners might come across these forums and actually encounter the wrong people and actually really put their life in danger if they follow the advice that these people give. So this is the topic of today. So a bit of context for the video. I think steroids are rising from experience. Hanging out around the gyms, I think a lot more people are using steroids, sometimes beginners, people who haven't even kind of put their foot in the gym a long time enough. Many studies also show that 6% of men in the world have one day tried steroids. So the first issue in my opinion with steroid forums is that most of the people who will hang out there are probably young. I often say that young people are more likely to be more resistant to the drugs, and I feel like there is this big movement of word of mouth where today a lot more people are taking steroids, and most of these people are young. And so when you're young, I think you resist steroids probably better than when you're 50 years old, for example, and so you don't see the direct effect that this can have. And I think we're in this period where a lot of young people are actually taking them and telling their mates just the good results that they get, and that don't really have the negative impact yet, and this will come later. And so a lot more people with word of mouth might be tempted to take steroids, and we have this big movement of younger and younger people taking steroids and not really seeing the negative impact yet. And so I think it's growing this way, and I think around the forums this is what we see nowadays. Young people mostly were giving their cycles and explaining how it works for them, and some of these things are probably way above what should be needed. And like in every forums there is a bit of everything, and some people might look legitimate in what they say, legit, but they're actually not, and I think that's a huge issue. You'll come across threads like SARMs saying legal steroids when in reality these are actually dangerous. So on these forums the issue is that a lot of people are advising steroids are sellers themselves. They will want to redirect you to other websites, and a lot of them will look like the guy that is famous in the forums. So like in any forums you have some reputation and stuff, and some people might look like they've got a lot of reputation, that they've been in the forum for a long time, and so that they know what they're talking about. But I think a lot of people are also sellers in most cases, and they just want to push the products to you. They want to sell as much as possible, so they will give you cycles that are totally bullshit, and basically you will take much more than needed if you really wanted to do a steroid cycle, and etc. And so you're really putting yourself in a massive danger there. So be careful. I mean, first I think don't go on the steroid forums, etc. But if you go there you have to be careful, because I think half of the people you can't really trust them. Like I said, some people are young, they've started a cycle, we will probably mess them up in 5 years time, but yet they don't feel the effects yet. So they'll give you this, say that they didn't feel anything, but in reality they will feel later. To me the most scandalous thing that there is on these forums are the SARMs, where you actually are most of the time redirected to SARM's website and stuff like that, with the ads that are on the forums. And so I think it's pretty crazy that we still see so many SARMs websites online, and you actually go there like you're buying simple grocery. And so this video was also to remind that SARMs, despite being called legal, steroids are actually dangerous, and that you should probably stay away from these, and that we have a natural way to actually build muscle pretty quickly. You just have to do the right methods, etc. So I encourage you to follow this channel, and I hope you you got something out of this. And if you liked it, feel free to share, to comment, or to subscribe.